In the skies above Birmingham, the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance is rushing a seriously injured patient to emergency hospital care. Motorbiker Richard Smith has been crushed under the wheels of a lorry. The trauma team at University Hospital in Coventry has been pre-warned of his arrival.
I'm going to pop some lines in, get a bit of blood off. You're going to do a primary survey for us, and then we'll see where we're up to. Hello, Richard.
Richard's riding a motorcycle. Lorry has clipped him. It's gone over him. Pelvis completely lost integrity.
Okay.
He's got femoral pain with an open wound medially going right round to the buttocks.
On the right groin.
Large abrasions over his buttocks.
Okay. Good. Okay, guys.
The team moved fast on a primary assessment of Richard's injuries.
He has got a weak, I haven't got a good radial pulse at all.
That's okay.
He had a lot of bleeding from somewhere, maybe within his tummy or his pelvis, because he has such extensive injuries there.
As they uncover him, Dr. Naz Ali gets the first clear look at the deep cut in Richard's thigh.
Sorry, that's quite deep, that is. I'll probably definitely have to go to the theatre for your right leg. Whether it's broken or not, you've still got a big wound there.
Richard's hand is also cut, but these wounds can wait until the CT scan reveals what's going on inside, in case there are any life-threatening injuries to worry about. The results are fed back to computer screens in A&E.
This is his CT scan of his pelvis, and he's got a fracture through that. So this is the lungs here, so this is rib cage. So you can see this black bit here, that's what we call free air in the chest. There's a punctured lung. And this kind of quite dark grey-ish stuff here is blood, so that's bruising and contusion.
But remarkably, Richard's lower spine is intact, so it's safe to examine the extent of the thigh wound.
When we rolled him onto his left-hand side to examine his back, we could actually see that the laceration actually goes from the top of his thigh inwards into his groin and then through to his buttock. Examine your back passage, mate. I think he's got away quite lucky. He's still got significant injuries, but they're not the worst that could have happened.
Next, Richard is wheeled to X-ray to check whether he's got any more broken bones. In Teesside, the Great North Air Ambulance is approaching the James Cook University Hospital helipad. The patient is 32-year-old rider Julie Truscott, who was thrown from a racehorse and landed hard on her hip on a metal gate. She's wheeled straight into the emergency resus department.
Your head, you just need to keep very, very still.
Julie, I'll just tell you what we're going to do, okay? We're going to take you off this board. Mr. Hannah is the consultant, he's going to hold your head.
1, 2, 3.
One of the first key jobs is to check Julie's back, looking for any signs of damage to her backbone. Besides her spine, there are other areas of concern to A&E consultant Mr. G. Han.
This young lady came off the horse, and in the fall she struck the left side of her trunk and pelvis against a hard object.
Can you feel me touch you there?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You can really sort of smash up your pelvis, and together with that you can have internal injuries in your tummy, in the abdomen.
Don't put me, don't go.
No, we won't.
They look expensive.
I want you to lift your chin, try touching your chest with your chin. That's okay, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So far, so good. Julie has no back or neck pain, but her hip is another matter.
To complement the primary survey, we do 2 very important X-rays, chest X-rays and pelvis X-rays.
The overhead X-ray machine swings into position, still in the resus department. Mr. Han gets the results.
That's gone on. The pelvis looks intact, the hip looks satisfactory, and we extended the X-ray down to the left thigh. Again, I think that looks very satisfactory, so that's good news for Julie, really. Julie, so far so good. All the X-rays are fine. Like you predicted, you haven't broken anything.
Okay.
But we want to have a look at the area where it's bruised.
Okay.
And the one thing we'd need from you is a sample of urine.
The urine will be tested in the labs in case the impact damaged Julie's kidneys. She's got time now to reflect on her eventful day.
Came off a racehorse this morning that decided to take flight and then ditched me into a metal bar gate, so not clever. Quite a lot of pain, but I'm all right.
Julie is smiling through the ordeal, and the urine test comes back clear. But she's still got tummy pain, and the doctors are not happy yet.
What I'd like to do is just have another feel of your tummy, because obviously you're a bit sore there. Right, okay. Sorry. I think what we'll do is I'm going to speak to one of my colleagues in radiology and see if we can organise a scan, maybe an ultrasound scan of your tummy, just to make sure that everything's okay there. And we're worried about her spleen, the amount of bleeding you can get from it, and it can be catastrophic where patients can die very quickly.
Julie's wheeled off for an ultrasound scan. Back in Coventry, injured motorbiker Richard Smith's X-ray results reveal he's got 2 broken ribs which have punctured his lung. The bones in his hand have survived intact, but there's a very deep cut.
Can you move these fingers? Oh, it's tendons, aren't they? There's glass there.
The injury could have a long-lasting effect on Richard's hand function. Orthopaedic surgeons will have to take a look.
You can see here, we've got the magnifying glass out. You see bits of glass and bits of foreign bodies lying around all around here. It's quite a significant injury, so we'll need quite a lot of surgery probably, and a lot of physio and rehab.
Richard will need surgery on more than just his hand. The worst injury of all is the one to his thigh and buttocks.
You've not broken your femur, but you've got quite a deep cut there, okay, which actually goes from the top of your thigh and right around to the back to your buttock, okay, and around to your back passage as well, okay? So you need to go to theatre for that.
The laceration is likely to need reconstructive surgery involving multiple operations. His injuries may mean he'll need a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. But even so, Richard's lucky to be alive. Earlier today, the Great North Air Ambulance headed out to the North Yorkshire countryside after 32-year-old Julie Truscott was thrown from a racehorse. She landed hard on her left hip against a metal gate. In A&E, X-rays showed her pelvis had survived unbroken, but doctors have sent her for a further scan.
Right then, a guided tour of your innards.
She has an ache on her left side in the area of her spleen. Bleeding from that can be life-threatening.
If there is an injury to the spleen, most of the time the surgeons would want to take them to theatre and stop that bleeding and get that spleen out.
So you've got a spleen-shaped spleen.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
The ultrasound scan takes just a few minutes and is reassuring.
Her kidney looked normal on it, and the spleen as well. There was no free fluid, which could indicate blood, obviously, but there was none of that.
It turns out that Julie's abdominal pain is simply bruised muscle.
Very relieved. It means I can get back to work as soon as possible now. So.
She could have had a nasty pelvic fracture or any other abdominal injury as well. It could have been a very difficult situation. She's been very lucky, really.
I think I'll be off the horse for a couple of weeks, but then I'll be back on board.
Julie's heading home. Although she was back at work in the stable yard the very next day, the deep bruising in her hip kept her off horseback for another 6 weeks. In the critical care department of Coventry's University Hospital, Richard Smith is celebrating his 25th birthday just days after his horrific motorbike accident.
Happy birthday, dear Richard. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
When Richard came off his bike, he was pinned under a lorry. The air ambulance flew to his rescue.
Does it hurt anywhere at the minute?
All over. Richard's arm was trapped behind a wheel, and it was a delicate job to get him out safely.
Do not move him yet. Do not move him yet. Hold, please.
Richard sustained very severe injuries and needed several operations.
When I walked into theatre, I actually realized the enormity and the severity of his injuries. He's damaged a major nerve, the nerve which comes here and then supplies the rest of your fingers and supplies the small muscles in your hand. He perhaps may never achieve a completely normal hand or a normal functioning grip.
The other major injury was the cut to his thigh, which needed several skin grafts.
The injury was far worse than what it looked like. The skin was peeled all the way down, literally, with skin and fat. So he's had the skin grafts done, and currently his condition is much better.
Dushi Kumar, the air ambulance doctor who rescued Richard, thinks he's lucky to be alive.
Escaping to the ward today.
For someone in that situation, you're expecting multiple injuries to head, chest, abdomen, pelvis, legs, arms. There was certainly a reasonable chance that he wouldn't have survived that accident. For him to firstly have survived and secondly be in a position where he has a good chance of a full recovery is miraculous.
2 weeks have passed since the accident and Richard is now out of critical care. Throughout his ordeal, he's shown a fighting spirit.
I've been quite lucky. I mean, I've still got my arms and my legs and everything. It could have been a lot worse. Yeah, I cannot wait to get back on my bike. Can't wait. It's the first thing I want to do. I want to get back, I want to polish it up, get it looking good again, and just go out for a ride. It won't put me off.